Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Hindu Yoga Dharma. You're going to find this one very interesting today and perhaps a bit humorous. And actually, this was inspired last year sitting on the beach and it's kind of drawing in the sand, made a square, which is the symbolism of the first chakra, Muladhara chakra. And if you take a square and turn it on its side, it becomes a diamond. And I was thinking about the very popular American game of baseball. Those of you listening from perhaps other countries may not fully understand the popularity of baseball in America. But there are great analogies here to the Hindu yoga game, if you will. Because in a sense, isn't this what we're doing? We're all playing the various games of life to one degree or another. Some of us are just participants. Some of us are just observers. Some of us go into more professional games, if you will. And when we play these games of life, it's important that we learn good sportsmanship because sometimes we win and sometimes we lose. This is just the human drama that we're all going through. So importantly, when we look at the word religio or religare, which is the root for religion, it initially meant simply and profoundly to tie, to bind, to link. In other words, individuals, families, communities, and sometimes whole nations trying to figure out what holds, what binds, what links one together. Now, this is very similar to the Sanskrit Hindu words dharma and yoga. Dharma comes from dri, meaning to hold. People trying to figure out what holds them together, individuals, communities. So too, yoga, a specific term within Hinduism, means to yoke, Y-O-K-E, like the yoke on two oxen, for example, holding them together. In other words, these are primal human aspirations for trying to figure out our life to one degree or another, getting our act together. So in that sense, we're all religio religare. Now, at this point in history, there are many established religious traditions. Many people are born into them. Some, very few though, have no religion at all. And then there are others who perhaps were born into a religion and then find that at some point that doesn't work for them. And they either give it up altogether or maybe they join a new one. But this is part of our human nature. It's one of the many games of life, the religious game. And it's a very, very important one. So let's look at the game of baseball in America and this understanding of the primal game of religion, which is really humanity's earliest and most primal game in the sense of an enduring structure involving rules, rituals, discipline, meaning, participation, and the search for ultimate orientation, similar to all the games of life that we play. If so, this can be meaningfully likened to the phrase America's pastime, namely baseball. If we use a symbolic reading, baseball becomes a metaphor for dharma, for religious spiritual practice, and the soul's journey of returning home. First, let's look at the very word itself, baseball. Base and ball. Base is a foundation, a grounding. To Hindus, this would be Dharma. This would be Ganesha. This would be the first chakra. This would be Bhumi Mata, the earth element. This would be the primal sound Om. This would be the important memory. Now, a ball, obviously, is a circle. Perhaps a zero, remember, invented by the Hindus, representing wholeness, and samsara, reincarnation. Round and round we go. The rolling movement of life. Baseball, therefore, begins with the union of circle and line, the ball and the bat, or 0 and 1, field and motion, foundation and play. The ball, of course, represents the circular nature of life. The earth is round. The bat represents the linear movement of willpower, discipline, direction, action. All important aspects of our material life. Together, what do they become? Symbolically, the binary system, the round and the straight line, the receptive and the active, the cyclic and the directional. This beautifully connects to the Hindu contribution of the zero, shunya, the emptiness, and the full circle of potential. 0 to 1 is closer to reality, hence the Sanskrit, Tamil, Hindu neuter term Brahman for the Big Bang, the expansiveness you see. All of our technology is dependent upon the 0 given by the Hindus and the 1. If we were still stuck in Roman numerals, we would not have any of this technology we're experiencing at this moment, the binary system. But on closer inspection, this is how life itself works, the binary system, 0 to many. From the no-thingness to the everythingness. So now look at the field that we play on. All the games of life have their specific fields. Let's look at the field of Dharma, the Kshetra. Now, every game is played on a specific field. And in life, we have to know what field we are in. Is it religion, medicine, science, astronomy, art, ethics? The field of family life, of business, sports, and on we go. And each field has its own rules and thus practices. It may even have its own language, rituals, and standards. The baseball field, therefore, becomes a Dharma Kshetra, a field of meaningful action. And note that the field in this case is a diamond. The diamond often symbolizes the hidden Atmana. Now, how do you get a diamond? Through intense pressure on coal? How do you find the inner Atmana, Atmadarshana Paramodharma? Through tapas, through sadhana, through living life, through going through all the highs and lows, the pressures of existence. The human being under tapas reveals that which was always there. We often use the analogy of the gem at the bottom of a lake, and as long as the lake is calm and clear, chitta vritta nirodha, like the calm mind, we can clearly see the Atmana. But once it gets muddied up, the waves get churned up. Even though it's still there, we just can't perceive it. This is why Saiva Hindus wear the tripunda, the 3 stripes of vibhuti, the clouds, if you will, that cover the Atmana. Specifically, lobha, krodha, kama, greed, and anger, and lust. So, let's look at the beginning of home plate. Each of us as individuals, we have to step up to the plate. And interestingly, the word home is essential here because the spiritual journey, if you will, the religious spiritual journey, is not merely going somewhere else. It's returning, actually, to what we always were. Om, O-M, A-U-M, actually, A-U-M, is placed at the center of Om plate. Om, home, Atmana, our true center, our base, where we begin and where we end up, interestingly. The batter becomes the B Atman. Batman? Think on that one. B Atma. This is our goal as Hindus. Atmadarshana Paramodharma. It's the embodied soul standing in the physical body at the plate of life. And the player must have the courage to face what's coming. Fast pitch, curveball, sinker, slider. So we have the pitcher. Then we have the catcher behind the batter. And then we have someone importantly behind the pitcher, the umpire. So the pitcher in this case represents prakriti, nature, life, karma, circumstances, the gunas. and the unfolding forces of existence itself. And life throws us many pitches, surprises, temptations, losses, joys, illness, opportunities, insults, and blessings. The Atmana must learn discernment through all of these storms. Now, the catcher behind the batter, the Bi-Atman, represents the antagonist, the shadow, karmic resistance, and the unseen pressure sometimes behind and within us. That's the catcher's job, to throw the batter off balance. Now, behind the catcher stands the umpire. This represents the Guru principle. The Guru sees the strike zone, knows the rules, and distinguishes fair from foul, strike from ball, safe from out. The Guru does not swing the bat for us, but the Guru helps us govern the game through Vivek, discrimination, discernment, Dharma, discipline, correction, and obviously a higher vision. Now, behind that is the dugout. The dugout contains the opposing team and the home team. This symbolizes the dualities of life: encouragement and discouragement, support and opposition, praise and blame, victory and defeat, confidence and doubt. In Sanskrit Hindu terms, this is the field of Dvandava, the pairs of opposites. Interestingly, the Saiva Hindu Guru Patanjali says this is the goal of assuming one steady, comfortable posture, stiram sukhamasana, Dvandava anabhagataha, to transcend duality. This has nothing to do with today's illicit game of yoga, wherein they're doing anything but transcending duality. Now, in this dugout, some are cheering us onward, and some are trying to deflate and defeat us. But both are part of the game. Now, let's look at the 4 bases and the 4 yogas. You hit the ball, you run to first base. That's Karma Yoga. Ethics, action, service, responsibility, doing the right thing. Second base, Bhakti Yoga, devotion, love, surrender, gratitude, relationship with divinity itself. Raja Yoga, third base, contemplation, concentration, inner discipline, mastery of the mind. Home plate, Gyan Yoga, knowledge, insight, realization, self-knowledge, and a return home. The basic movement is act rightly, love deeply, contemplate inwardly, and know the self, the true home. When one returns home, one is no longer merely running in circles. One understands the meaning of the circle. Now, if we look to the outfield becomes the sacred horizon, the divine guardianship surrounding the play. Different Hindu devotional worlds can be envisioned across the outfield. So if we look at this gem principle, and we'll do a video on this, so we'll go more in depth with our understanding of our gem principle. But in Hinduism, we have basically 3 sampradayas, or 3 families, if you will. So for the Saiva, right field would be Ganesha, left field Muruga, center field Shiva and Parvati. This is the Saiva Mandala. For Vaishnavism, right field would be Ganapati, left field be Krishna and Hanuman, center field would be Sitaram and Vishnu Lakshmi. This becomes a devotional field of dharma, bhakti, strength, and divine relationship. For Shaktiism, The outfield is the field of the mothers, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. The whole field becomes actually a sacred womb of Shakti. Now, when we hit a home run, that's moksha. That's freedom. Kaivalya comes later. The ordinary goal is to move around the bases and return home. But the ultimate goal is even greater. To hit the ball out of the park. This is Kaivalya, liberation from the entire field of play. A run returns home. A home run transcends the field. A normal run represents spiritual maturity within life. A home run represents liberation, hitting the ball out of the park, beyond limitation. So the final teaching, are you a player? In a good way. Are you a fan? Or are you a skeptic? Either way, life is still going to throw us the pitches. There are those in religion, for example, who participate directly, those who watch vicariously, and those who remain very skeptical through the whole game itself. Yet, life continues to throw the pitch to everyone. So interestingly, there's a famous song that's played at baseball games, "Take me out to the park, take me out to the game." So, why not do one for the Dharma? Take me out to the Dharma. Take me into the game. Don't sell me some yoga as jumping jacks, 'cause they don't care if they ever get back. So it's root, 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 the roots, for the Om team. This is not your phony yoga, 'cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the fake yoga. So excuse the acapella. But let's be serious for a moment. Asato ma sadgamaya, as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago in Brihad Aranyaku Upanishad. There are basically two yogas, sat and asat, true and false. What is true yoga? 1, 2, 3. Hindu Dharma, taught by Hindus, not for a fee. Spurious asat yoga is not taught in a Hindu context, not taught by Hindus, and it's basically a business. So it's either 1, 2, 3 and home run, or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes and you're out. In life in general, and in religion specifically, and specifically in today's yoga, the choice is up to us. Play the game fair or unfair. Jai Ganesha, Jai Hindu Yoga and Dharma. Om Namaste.